Today, we are diving deep into a concept that's absolutely crucial in our digital world: cybersecurity resilience. Now, this isn't just about building bigger, stronger walls to keep the bad guys out. It's about what happens when, not if, one of those walls gets breached. It's about having a rock-solid plan for the inevitable storm. So let's get into it.
So let's just be real for a second. Every single system, sooner or later, is going to face a major challenge. It might be something simple, like a hardware failure, or something huge, like a natural disaster, or, of course, a really sophisticated cyber attack. The truth is, it's not a question of if something is going to go wrong. It's a question of when.
And this is where you have to make a huge mental shift. The idea of perfect, 100% prevention, it's a myth. It's just not possible. The real goal, the smart goal, is to build your systems and your entire organization to be able to take a punch, get back up fast, and just keep moving forward. That, right there, is the very heart of resilience. Okay, so if that's the big idea, let's put a proper definition on it. What are we actually talking about when we use the term cyber resilience? And there it is. It's your ability to do three things: prepare, respond, and recover, all while keeping the lights on and the business running. It's a whole strategy that starts by accepting that bad things will happen and then focuses everything on making sure their impact is as small as possible. Now, this is where it gets really practical. You can break down that big idea into three core pillars. First, you've got preparation. That's all your proactive work trying to see what's coming. Second is recovery. How fast can you get back on your feet? And third, and this is maybe the most important, is adaptability. You have to learn from every single incident to get stronger for the next one. It's a continuous loop. So let's kick things off with that first pillar: preparation. How do you actually go about building that digital shield? Let's look at the foundational strategies. The first concept is a classic for a reason: redundancy. It's such a simple but powerful idea. Just don't have only one of anything that's important. By duplicating your critical parts, you get rid of what we call single points of failure. And that spare tire analogy? It's perfect. You really hope you never have to use it, but man, you are so glad it's in the trunk when you get a flat. And redundancy isn't just one single thing. It applies all across your tech stack. You can have disk redundancy with something like RAID, so if a hard drive dies, your data is totally fine. You've got network redundancy with multiple internet connections and load balancers to make sure you stay online. And of course, power redundancy. Using a UPS keeps everything humming along even when the power goes out. Now, this takes that whole idea of redundancy to the next level. Think about it. If all your servers and backups are in the same building, what happens if there's a flood or a fire in that building? You're toast. Geographic dispersal is about spreading your resources out so a disaster in one city doesn't take down your entire operation. It's the ultimate don't put all your eggs in one basket play. So all this work, all this redundancy, it's all in service of protecting what really matters: your data. So how do you make absolutely sure that data is safe and that you can get it back? Well, that brings us to the ultimate data safe: your backup strategy. When it comes to backups, you've got three main flavors to choose from, and they all have trade-offs. A full backup is exactly what it sounds like. It's simple, but it's slow and takes up a ton of space. An incremental backup is way more efficient. It's fast and small because it only copies what's changed since the last backup of any kind. The catch: restoring can be a real headache. Then you have differential, which is a nice middle-of-the-road option. It copies everything that's changed since the last full backup. The right answer for most places is usually a smart mix of all three. So where do you keep all these backups? Well, you generally have two common setups. A NAS is kind of like a shared drive for your team. It's pretty easy to set up and great for collaboration. A SAN, on the other hand, is a different beast entirely. It's like a high-speed, industrial-strength data pipeline built for huge performance, which is why it's the go-to for big companies. But we have to talk about the cloud because it has completely changed the game. Using the cloud for your backups gives you what feels like infinite storage space that just grows as you need it. Plus, you can get to your data from anywhere. You don't have to buy a bunch of expensive hardware. And look at that, it automatically gives you that geographic separation we were just talking about. It's a huge advantage. Okay, so you've done all this preparation, but it's all for this moment. The alarm bells are ringing, an incident has happened. This brings us to that second pillar: recovery. Let's talk about how you bounce back the right way. All right, here's a really cool and clever idea called non-persistence. Just imagine a computer that hits a reset button every single time you're done using it, wiping itself back to a perfect, clean, factory-fresh state.
Any malware that got installed, gone. Any weird settings that got changed, wiped away. It's an incredibly powerful way to guarantee a clean slate every single time. Now, when a real disaster hits, you can't just flip one giant switch and turn everything back on. You need a battle plan. It's like triage. First, you bring back the absolutely critical systems, the things your business literally cannot function without. Then you bring up the systems that depend on those. And only at the very end do you worry about the non-essential stuff. The whole point is to get the core of your business back online as fast as humanly possible. Okay, so we've covered the fundamentals of preparing and recovering. Now let's touch on a few advanced strategies that can really take your resilience to the next level. This is a huge one. A really critical strategic decision you have to make is whether your backups are online or offline, and there is a major trade-off. Online backups are super convenient, they're always ready to go, but that same connection makes them a target for things like ransomware. Offline backups, on the other hand, are physically disconnected. They're what we call air-gapped. They're safe from those attacks, but they take more manual effort to manage. Any good strategy is going to have a mix of both.
Cryptography might sound really complex, but think of it as the locks and seals on your data safe. Encryption scrambles your backups so attackers can't read them. Digital signatures prove that a backup actually came from you and not an imposter. And hashing creates a unique digital fingerprint for your data, so you can check and be 100% sure it hasn't been secretly tampered with. So what's the ultimate goal here? What do we try to achieve with all this? It's something called high availability. It means keeping your systems up and running, no matter what happens. And you do this with a few key ingredients. You need fault tolerance, which means a system can keep going even if one of its parts breaks. That's supported by the redundancy we talked about earlier, and things like load balancing, which spreads out the work so no one piece of equipment gets overloaded. I think this quote just nails it. It perfectly captures the real spirit of resilience. This isn't a one-and-done defense. It's a living, breathing process of preparing, responding, and, most importantly, adapting. Every single challenge is a chance to learn something new and to make yourself that much harder to take down next time. And that really brings us to the final and most critical question. It's not just about the technology you buy. It's about your strategy, your plan, your mindset. So is your organization really prepared not just to survive a failure, but to bounce back from it even stronger? Thanks for tuning in.